Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig, the writer. Wait, that's not what this is. This is from my Patreon, my exclusive video diary. Get a behind-the-scenes look of my life with my friends, family, behind-the-scenes recording of So Much to Say podcast, and the Queen's Supreme Court live show.
You done poofed, girl. You in the chair. Poof.
There's even a subscription level for aspiring writers. My Patreon video diary is just $5 a month.
I'm in here starving.
Let me tell you what, this bitch.
And what information do you know, Sydney?
The phone number.
I just thought they were just interviewing me, asking me, general questions. You got
So join now. Visit www.patreon.com/Craig the Writer Stewart. Bye.
I was involved briefly with a married man who believed he had the courage to leave his wife to be with me and to live his truth. This isn't the typical story of a married man promising to leave his wife for a secret lover. Rather, this is a story in part about a gay man who knew he was gay before he got married, but chose to marry a woman because he didn't know how to break free. Rocky and I met on a gay social media site 3 months after I returned to the East Coast to live, and just 11 months after he was married. At the time we met, he was living and working in Dubai as a contractor for the government on a military base, while his wife was stationed in Tallahassee, Florida, where they had a home. In one of the first messages he sent me, Rocky shared that he was married, but that he had regrets. He explained that he had come out to his mother and siblings when he was 18 years old. He said that.
To listen to more of One Thing for Certain, Two Things for Sure, a memoir continued, visit audible.com. Welcome to Gay Like Me Conversations, where we discuss all things central to the Black LGBTQ community. Although some conversations intersect with the Black community as a whole. But either way, you're going to laugh, maybe even cry a bit, and you'll definitely learn and grow. It's time to start the show. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Communication is our partner. Clarity is our friend. Please do me a favor and hit the like button. If you've been watching for weeks and months and years without subscribing to the YouTube channel, please do so. We also have this coffee mug without my little cartoon on it. It's just the text, okay? I'm sitting here eating my Thai basil stir fry. I do have one book that I need to gift tonight because someone gifted a book last night, but it was after I got off the live. Let me see who this was. Jeremy McFarland. Thank you very much. He gifted a book. He wanted to gift a book. So I got my Thai basil stir fry here. I came home and I sauteed my own shrimp. Why pay the extra $3 when I can saute my own shrimp and just add it to it, right? You just add your own shrimp. Hey, girl, hey. Hey, boy, hey. I know some of you don't like when I eat, but listen, I just got in the house. They had messed up my order, so I had to go back around the corner to get my food. Tonight, we're going to do a Q&A. You can ask me whatever you'd like. No, Marie did not gift the book. She said she was going to, but she didn't. Just like she said she was going to send me those candles, but she never did. Jessica Gary, I see you're trying to join the live, but your device is not connected. You have to give permission to the audio and to the... Oh, she just gifted the book, so I have 2 books to gift. Thank you, Marie. See how you got to call the kids out. If you want to ask a question, I've dropped the link in the comments. You're welcome to come on and ask whatever you'd like to ask about writing, about publishing, about starting a business. It could be relationship stuff. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and it's the Facebook and YouTube live versions of So Much to Say. These are my thoughts in my voice on Black shit. white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. This is the coffee mug that says communication is our partner, clarity is our friend. If you're camera shy, you don't have to connect the camera, because you know all these people have been coming on the past couple of weeks. They haven't showed us their face, but we just need to hear you. All right. Hey, Savoy Jones.
Hey, Craig. Hey, girl. Hey, how are you?
Hey, girl. Hey.
I have a question.
What's your question?
I have a question because I've just had a little debate with a couple of girlfriends and transgender friends and one of my good gay best friends.
Oh, so slow down, Savoy. You know you got people in the GED section. Hold on. So you said you were having a conversation with some gay friends, trans friends, and some of your female friends?
Yes.
Okay. All in the same conversation?
All in the same conversation, because I don't know if you heard, but it was a guy called Jimmy Smacks from Florida who got caught sucking on the...
He's sucking on that trans girl's penis?
Yes.
I saw the screen grab.
There you go.
And
so
then
it's
he went
always
live with one of his friends?
Yeah, and said he wasn't gay and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat back and just listened, because sometimes it's hard to give your real true input when you have females on one side, transgenders on the other side, and your gay man. Now I'm from DC, okay, be more so. We have the ball. So I always tell people, I came out the closet before my gay friends came. But I love my gay friends, and I try not to disrespect the transgender side or the gay side or the female side. So the female side have a problem with calling the transgender women, and they're like, we're trans women. So I never
trans
really
women, not female.
Not
trans
female.
women, but not female.
Not females. But see, they don't understand it because they don't think the trans women should be called females, period. Because long as the guy deal with them and they still have, whether they have a penis or have it removed, they're still men. That's how the females feel. So
just from my conversation with Madison will say that she's not female. She can never be female because she wasn't born a girl. But she does identify as a trans woman. There's a distinction between woman and female.
True. Which I totally agree with. Now, I know you have a lot of females in your audience. I don't know the ratio between gay men and the females, but the females that I know, it's like they really can't transcend over to understanding the trans side, which for me, the couple of trans friends that I have, I knew them when they, before they became trans. You see what I'm saying? When they were going through the butch queen, when they was going through their butch queen phase, their dressing, all the whole phase before they had their surgeries and everything. The transition. So I never really questioned it. I was just like, okay, because I was going to balls with them. So I really never questioned it.
You real gay and you're not even gay.
I'm telling you.
I've never even been to a ball.
Ooh, child.
I've never been to a ball.
If you came, you would totally get the tens across the board. but yes. So it's like I never looked at it any kind of way. So it kind of bothers me when my female friends kind of like, because to me, I feel like it's disrespectful. But I really never say anything because it's like, what do I say without disrespecting the females and without disrespecting, the trans? Because it's always a battle. I'm telling you, it's always a continued battle between the two.
I think in some instances, females, those born female or girl, I think sometimes take issue with the language because I think they feel that that their femininity is being undermined. That may or may not be the case, but that's how some feel. And so for that very reason, Derek J and I have a conversation between Black women and trans women on the Gay Like Me conversations. I don't remember what date it is, but we want.
Okay, so it's in the past. I'm gonna go check it out. Okay.
Yes, no. It's one that's gonna be coming for this new season.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know the date that we already got the date set, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. But we're gonna pull together trans women and females because I really would like to have that conversation. And if you've been watching for a while, like one of the things that I've been saying for a while, I think a part of my life work is to kind of bridge communities, whether it's Black gay men and Black straight men, Black LGBTQ people and Black people, because there's a divide between communities. Even gay and lesbian, there's a divide even between the gay community and the lesbian community. Like gay males, because I know I'm losing some people, but gay males and gay females. Like there's a divide. Like I don't have any lesbian friends, and it's not because I don't want any. It's just that we party separately. We move in different. It's very segregated. It's very segregated. It's the best word. And then there's a divide between the white gay community.
Because if you think about it, gay men don't really like to party with trans women either. They don't like to party with women. Period.
Right.
From what I see.
That's true.
So if you go in there, it's like, no, the gay boys is looking at you regardless. Like, why are you here? So I do get that. And the other question I want to ask is how do you feel as though, because for me, I do think that the men are actually gay if they do sleep with trans women. But then my trans woman said they're not gay because we are women. And I said, I can go with that. So I try not to battle it because sometimes you are not understanding, you don't want to hurt feelings. And I don't want to hurt.
And it's so, you're touching on a few things. For me, I don't know if they would be called gay. I think it's definitely a different category. They're not straight. They're not gay. Straight. Okay. We need another name for that.
So you agree actually that they're not straight. You totally would agree with that across the board.
Like if they're exclusively attracted to trans women, I would say that they need a new category for that.
But how would you say if you're exclusively, if you're also, let's say, would you say you're exclusively if you're dating trans women, or are you hiding if you're fronting with a female?
Well, no. Let me rephrase it. If this particular man is only interested sexually in trans women and he's not interested in a cisgender woman, a naturally born woman, I think that needs a different title. I don't think that would be called gay, because that man who's only attracted sexually to trans girls may not be attracted to me. They may not be attracted to a man, but they're attracted to a trans girl. So I think
or fetishizes.
I think that there is some fetishizing going on, but not for all. I think that there is a particular man who likes trans girls, like a Malik Yoba, for example. And I'm saying that because he did a whole interview, so I'm not putting him. But the trans girls knew about him for years.
It's always like that. When you're in the community, you already know who's been out here gay, who's been like Rayful Edmond. When he had that whole thing, it was like, girl, he done bought salons for the girls. Where have y'all been at? Like, so it's so underground. When you're in the community, you already know. No one.
And what happens is, a lot of straight folks don't want to believe it, especially Black women. They don't want to believe it when we say, oh, Malik Yoba likes the trans girls. They don't want to believe it because in their eyes, he's a viable, sexy Black man that's
probably a bottom.
Probably so. And because here's my thing, and this is not, I haven't done any research, no science behind it, but just from my own experience, because I have lived.
Yes, haven't we all?
In the instances where I've dealt with guys who were married, I've only dealt with one guy who was married, and that was Rocky, and I write about that in the second book. But
Can I get a book? I need to get a book. Go ahead. I'm going to buy a book. That's what I'm saying. Not for free. Go back to the store.
I would say, did she come on here to ask for a book, or did she?
No, I'm gonna support the DMV. Go ahead.
Okay, I appreciate that. But before Rocky is the only married man that I've been involved with, and that was not something that I intended to do because that's just not my energy. But before Rocky, I dated a guy who had been formerly married, and in my experience, men that have been married typically are bottoms when they with guys. And I talk about this, I think, in my second book. I think for them, they get married to women because it's their way of proving to themselves that they can assert their masculinity. I'm still masculine enough to pull a woman and get married to a woman, but I like to get fucked.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So back to the point that we were making a moment ago, I think that the guys that are trans attracted, that like trans women exclusively, they're not interested in women, they're not interested in men. They only are sexually attracted to trans women. I believe that needs to be called that needs to be a different category, because that's not gay. Because I'm telling you, there was a girl, remember I did my stage play. I did a stage play and there was a trans girl in the show. The musician that I had hired for the play was dating the trans girl. And he was the
Mhm.
first person that told me, this is way back in 2002. He told me then, he said, Craig, I think these are just his words. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. He said to me, he said, Craig, I think you're very attractive. He said, but you look like a man. You look like a boy.
Yes.
I would never be attracted to you in that way. I know she was born a boy, but she looks like a woman.
Like a female. Mhm.
Yes. So,
But see the underlying problem for females is that trans will always, oh, hold on, take that back. They don't always, because I have a few that actually had a surgery, but they will say most men like the little joystick, preferably, and they kind of lose interest once you remove that joystick. So is it the
like, I don't know if
joysticks
you
that
watch
you?
Pose. Do you watch Pose?
Not really. It's so
Well,
fake to me.
they had that scenario in the movie, in the show.
Okay.
The guy, it was a white guy, and he was that was an instance where I think it was fetishized. But he was interested in one of the trans girls. Well, she wanted to go and have her penis removed. And he told her before she did, and he was setting her up. He gave her money. He had her living in a nice apartment. As soon as she went and had her penis removed, he cut her off. He said, I told you not to do that.
Ooh.
But go ahead. What were you saying?
I was saying that I believe that's their favorite part. They don't want to do anything else. That's the part. But see, in their eyes, if they're looking at you, in their mind, they're saying, I'm not gay. She's so beautiful. She's a woman. But I really love that joystick. Like, that's my favorite part of this woman. Now, if all the other females can get this joystick, I would love them too. But that's the different. That's the different.
Difference.
That's the difference between the two.
Yeah.
So then for the females that's trying to understand, they're like, okay, usually the guy is definitely into the bottom half versus everything else. That's the pleasure for them. So that's where the issue comes in at. That's how
Right.
come females really can't get past that. They're like, no, you cannot take my man because my man is not gonna want another man. But you can't say that to a trans female, a trans woman, because they don't see themselves as men, from what I know. Now,
Right.
I don't know, how T.S. Madison, might have told you, but like my girlfriends would hate if you called them a boy or he or
Yeah. And that's how she
refer
is.
to them as all of those things.
Yeah, and that's
and
how
they don't
she
want
is.
you talking about their bottom halves.
Well, and then in that instance, she's not like that. She has no problem talking about having
See,
a
my
penis.
friends are so sensitive about that bottom half. That
And
is
see, it's
permanent.
interesting because we're getting ready, and then because they trying to wrap me up. They swear they got.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bye. I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
I
no.
didn't
But
mean to
listen,
hold you up.
I do want to say this though, because you brought up some really good things, and we only got one other person waiting, so I don't know why y'all rushing her. But anyway, but I'm dropping the link down here for those of you who have a question. But one of the things that I would say about Madison is I've learned more about the trans community through her because she has been so open, right?
Yeah.
She has no issue talking about being born with the penis, but she definitely, her pronouns are she, hers, and hers. Like, she moves as a woman, she lives as a woman, she expects to be called a woman, respected as a woman. But in my experience prior to Madison, I could never have a conversation with any, like I told you, I wrote a play back in 2002 and we had a trans girl, but there were certain limitations, there were certain boundaries. And maybe one could argue, well, that was a different time. That was 2002. We're now in 2021. But I mean, I just couldn't have that conversation. And that's another thing. Somebody emailed about this conversation, this very first conversation that Derek J and I are about to do on February 7th, where we're talking to parents of LGBTQ people. And one of the parents emailed and said, I read it today. She said she has I think she has 2 gay children, a boy and a girl. And she says, but she feels like she can't really educate herself and learn certain things because they've cut her off. They've put these walls up. So they won't even allow her in. And so she says she's learned so much from following my page and other LGBTQ content creators. But that's part of what we want to talk about too, is because gay people or trans people, you can't expect people to want to learn and know if we're going to push you away and not want to have certain conversations. Like, I know some questions become redundant, and especially when it's an ignorant conversation or a question. But no question is a dumb question. But it's like when you get those basic questions like, well, who's the man and who's the female in the relationship? First of all, we're both men or we're both women. Yeah, now I know some people do have those roles and stuff like that, but that's not always across the board. But the only way that people know is if we educate them by having conversation. It's the same thing with race. A lot of times white folks will ask these same dumbass questions of black people, but at some point we have to open up the space to give them the freedom to ask certain questions. There's certain things you just don't need to ask me as a white person in 2021, because I just think that it's intellectually lazy of you to ask me, well, what does your hair feel like? Bitch, if you don't back up. You know what I mean? So it's the same kind of thing. So I say all of the time, there are a lot of parallels between the civil rights struggle for black people and the gay rights struggle for black people.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of black people don't even want to hear that, because they like, you are not going to compare slavery. Anybody said that it was as difficult. I said there are parallels in the way that some black people treat LGBTQ people and the way that some white folks treat black people. There are a lot of similarities.
Correct. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
you
so
for your question.
much
Those are really good, Savoy.
Oh, but Craig, real quick, can you tell Mike W. all the way back there on the nurses' row in the back of the church to stop coming for me? You was the one who kept me on the line, Craig. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed
You're welcome.
it. And
All right,
have
a good night. I appreciate you. Okay, so we have another question here. Is it how do you pronounce it?
Okay, Craig, can you hear me?
Is it Masai? Yes.
Okay, no, this is Jessica Gary. I just had to go on a different one.
Okay, hey Jessica. Hey girl, hey.
Hey Craig. Okay,
where are you watching from?
I'm in Gaithersburg. I'm in the DMV area.
Come on, Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Yes, I'm at work. I'm doing my night shift right now.
So in other words, you are at work watching social media, so you're really not working. You're on those people's clock.
Yeah,
but we love you for it.
These people been killing me today. You hear me?
I hear you. What's your question?
Okay, so my question is, I have been in a relationship for 13 years. I'm 31. I've been with him since I was 18 years old. We have a daughter.
How does your daughter?
And oh my God, he still haven't popped a question.
How old is your daughter?
My daughter is 10 going on 11.
Okay, and the daughter is by him?
Yes.
Okay.
That is our only child together.
Does he have other children?
No, he does not. Neither one of us have children. Just
okay. Okay. Okay, so y'all been together 13 years and he hasn't popped the question. So go ahead, I'm listening.
Question. Okay, so this is my thing. Craig, when I tell you I have gone through hell and back with this man, I don't even understand why this nigga would not have already proposed. And I'm just going to keep it all the way 100 with you, okay? I have been cheated on so bad by this man. I have caught him in the bed with other women. I have washed his clothes and found cum in his drawers. He even cheated on me with a girl named Jessica. Okay. And this bitch said she was pregnant by him, and whole time it was by a different nigga. But still, just the fact that you even put me in a situation like that is crazy as hell. I have been through domestic violence problems with him. And now I'm in a place where, God has just been blessing me. I got my own place. Me and my baby girl got our own place. I'm working. I done started my business. I'm doing good. And he living with me.
What's your business, Jessica? Hold on. What's your business?
So I have a clothing line called Uplift, and I was so scared to say it because I don't want nobody to know that I'm on here.
Well, you done already said your whole name.
I know, right? My dumbass. Oh Lord. Yeah.
So wait. Okay, I already know what I want to say to you. But my first question is: are you sending something to me and Carlton for the Honest Hour so we can show you?
Yes, I am sending something for the what is it called? The what hour?
The honest hour.
The honest hour. Yes, the hell I am. I got 2 hoodies for you and Carlton. It is not a game. And I'm I'm waiting on my packaging to come in because I don't want y'all to talk about me.
Okay, so the PO box is running at the bottom. Okay. All right, so you ready for me to answer, or you got some other stuff you want to say first?
ready for you to answer because I'm like ready to leave. I can't lie to you. I'm ready to go.
So when you were talking, I'm dropping the link in the comments so that if you want to come on and ask a question, it doesn't have to be a relationship, whatever it is. So when you were talking and you said, you know, he hasn't asked me to marry him, and then you went on to say all of the things that you've been through with him. The first thing that I thought and would have wanted to ask you is, why do you want to marry him? Because well, I'm gonna give you a second to answer. I just want you to kind of to stew on that. The question is, why do you want to marry him? And I think the mistake that a lot of women make, and this is not quite your situation, but a lot of women marry the first man who asks them. You don't have to marry the first person that asks you to marry him, right? But for you, you've been with this guy since you were 18. And so for the next thing that I wrote down, because I wrote a few things when you were talking, if you can see that. My question was your self-worth. Like, what do you believe you deserve? That's the third question. What is it that you believe you deserve? Because do you have my fourth book? And this really is not me trying to plug, because I'll send it to you. That would be one of the ones that I give away. But I just feel like one of the mistakes in everything that I've written and created, it's always to try to teach you what I've learned, right? So in Book of Jewels, it's 11 chapters, and they're not very long chapters. It's 11 chapters of the biggest life lessons that I've learned. And there's a chapter in there called Dating, and there's a chapter in there called Love and Fear. And I don't remember which chapter I write this in, but in one of the chapters I talk about when I was inexperienced in relationships, I believed at that time that relationships always came with a certain amount of baggage. And I believe that because of the relationships that were modeled for me as a child. And not even just from my parents or family members or whatever, but also the relationships that I saw, like in my neighborhood. So I had this idea of what relationships were supposed to look like. And for me, I thought they were supposed to be, you had to just figure out what kind of bullshit you can deal with. But now I understand that that's not the case. I realized that during those 9 years that I was single, and I'm not saying that you have to be single for 9 years to get that, but I was single for 9 years and I was dating and spending time with people. But that was when those revelations came. And I realized that a lot of times when men cheat, they're not always cheating because it's second nature for men. I think a lot of times men cheat because that's behavior that they've adopted from the men that were in their lives, their fathers, their uncles, the hustlers in the neighborhood. They watch men cheat and they learn to think. I think we dropped her, but we lost her. But I'm going to keep talking. But they learn to believe that that's how men are supposed to function. But that's not necessarily the case, and you don't have to deal with that. Cheating does not have to be a symptom of your relationship. It doesn't. Now, for me, and I talk about this in Book of Jewels, I'm not dealing with any of that dysfunctional shit. Those days are over, because if I have the wherewithal to be functional and present in a relationship, then I expect you to be able to do the same thing, because I know I'm not the only person that's capable of being faithful. And speaking of being faithful, I don't believe that everybody is is capable of monogamy. I don't believe that everybody is, but I believe that whatever you're looking for is also looking for you. So the question becomes, how long are you willing to wait for greatness to show up? Because greatness doesn't just show up every single day, because if it was, everybody would have it. Everybody would have it. So the question, and here's the other thing that I say in Book of Jewels. One of the consequences or penalties of being a person of substance, and I'm talking to you too, of being a person of substance, of being a person who's driven, who's cultured, who's educated, whatever that is, one of the penalties of all of those things sometimes means being single just a little bit longer, because you are almost like kryptonite to a weak-minded man. You're almost like kryptonite. And so you have to be willing to be strong enough to say, no, I don't want to deal with that. You know, and then I also understood or learned that during those 9 years that I was single, part of the reason that I repelled a certain kind of guy was because my energy changed, my internal energy changed. So a certain kind of guy wouldn't even come up to me. because I didn't even give out that kind of energy like I was with that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So you have to change your energy, and you have to change what you want. And part of changing your energy is changing the kind of music you listen to. I talk about that in Book of Jewels. I've said it on here as well. Like there was a time
all the time.
Yes, I used to listen to all that heartbreak music and this, that, and the third. That shit seeps into your spirit, into your energy.
Does.
And then you draw that kind of guy in. And then you come to expect the kind of dysfunction that you hear about in those songs. Same thing watching all these love and hip hop shows and the show Cheaters. I used to love that show Cheaters. But then I had to change my energy. Oh no, I got to stop watching that, because then I started to anticipate that in my relationship. Yeah, I started to anticipate that to happen. And I was just like almost waiting for it to happen in my own relationships, because I was conditioning myself. I was conditioning myself to believe that was what was going to happen, that always happens in relationships. That's why people say all of the time, well, all men cheat and this is what's going to happen. And no, that's not going to be my reality. That's going to be yours, but I'm going to draw in a different kind of guy. So you really you're going to have to step away. But again, the question for you is, what is it that you really believe you deserve? Because you're staying, here we go. You date at the level of your self-esteem. You date at the level of your self-esteem. So once you raise your self-esteem, that kind of man won't even be capable of being in your space.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to change your energy. I have a family member, just to kind of help you, because you're not the only one. I have a family member, and I'm not going to say how she's related to me, because she might be watching, but she's married and she's been with this guy. She went through prison with this guy. He was in jail for 19 years. I think she did maybe like his last 3 years with him. He came home. He did really well for the first maybe year. I'm giving him that. And he worked and, was giving her his check and everything. He was a good man. Well, he ended up having a baby outside of the marriage. She forgave him. Ended up having another baby. She forgave him. They're still together. They were planning New Year's Eve. Like, girl, what? Do you not believe that you deserve better? Do you not believe that better is possible? That's my question for her. And that's my question to you. You have to believe that better is possible. And when you do walk out from him, when you do finally leave him, because I believe you will. And the reason that, and I don't know you, but the reason that I believe you will is because the fact that you've moved out and got your own place, you're on here talking about it, you're on the path. You're on the path. So the intention is there. The intention is there. So you have to, once you leave, when you finally cut him off, you have to give yourself the time and the space to heal. Don't go, you know how people say, well, the best way to get over a man is to jump up under something. That's the most toxic, dysfunctional.
That's some bullshit. That's not true.
You need to heal. And I think I shared this story on here before. This is years ago, probably about 15 years ago. I remember I was leaving a club and I saw this guy, had seen this guy in the club. And then I saw him when we were leaving out. And I remember going over to, it was the let out of the club. And I remember going over to him and trying to holler at him. And I said, hey, excuse me. I said, my name is Craig. Can I get, can I get your number? Can I talk to you? And he looked, he smiled, and he said, I'm really just trying to heal right now. And that said a lot to me. And I had so much respect for him, because what he really was saying was, I just came through something and I'm not ready to, I don't want to bring anybody else into this. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's what you have to do. You have to literally take the time to heal and to restore and recalibrate. I talk about all of this in Book of Jewels. You got to recalibrate, because what you're going to do, if you don't, you're going to go into a new situation and you may have a very good guy, because remember, you didn't purge, you didn't change your energy. So you're going to attract a different kind of guy, right? Yeah, but if you don't heal, you're going to start accusing him of shit that last one did.
Right.
You understand? So that's why you got to take the time to really heal and move on. You know what I'm saying? And here's another thing I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to let you go. Once your energy changes, I talk about this in Book of Jewels. Once your energy changes, and you start to attract a different guy, he may not be your type.
Yeah,
he may not
I
be your
know.
type, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing though, because you've broken a pattern. See, the problem, and this I talk about this all of the time, especially with women. The problem with having a type, there's a difference between having a standard and having a type. Having a type, and this is all in Book of Jewels, so I'm not going into all of this, but having a type is, he got to be 6 feet tall. Oh, he got to have a college education. Oh, that's a type. Having standards is a completely different thing, right? But what I want you to remember is the type of guy that you're used to may not show up. It may be a different guy because your energy has changed. But you have to move past the type. You have to move past the type. Who cares about his complexion? Who cares about his height? Who cares about all of that shit? The question is, does he adore you? Will he go to the end of the earth for you? You'll know the difference. And so you have to break that pattern. Because I used to be in a pattern, and I had a pattern that I used to go after. And my pattern is, and I talk about this in the first book, Words Never Spoken. I had a pattern of dating guys who needed me, not financially, because I ain't had no money to help nobody. I was a struggling artist. But they needed me from an emotional standpoint. I dated one guy who was from Chicago. He lived in Cabrini Green. That's the projects for those who may not know. He lived in Cabrini Green. He spent some time in foster care, in and out. His mom was a crackhead. And so he had a lot of abandonment issues. And I was trying to heal his abandonment issues. You understand what I'm saying? I dated another convicted by sexuality. And he was really into the church. Right? He was really, really into the church. And I was trying to convince him that being gay doesn't put you on the wrong side with God, because he had been conditioned by the church that it was wrong to be gay and you were going to hell. So he was one of the ones that I said went and got married and all that other stuff. But I found myself trying to convince him that it really is okay. And I was trying to be that kind of a guy for him. I wasn't really in him. You understand what I'm saying? So I was drawing in these people because they were attracted to my energy. And I realized that this work that I'm giving you right now and that I put into these books, that's work. That's how I share my work. I don't want to have to heal you in my relationship. You need to go lay down on somebody's couch for that kind of healing. I don't want to be your therapist. I want to be your partner. You know?
Right.
So that's what I have for you.
Well, I'm so thankful to you, Craig. I love you. I am praying for your businesses, your relationship, your finances, everything. I pray that God will bless you unconditionally, okay?
I receive it all. Honey. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
All right, have a good night. All right. Well, I guess y'all don't have any more questions. I guess I'm going to go ahead and log out. That was the last one. Oh, it's hot. Oh, let me take this vest off. I forgot. Oh, that was Jessica Gary. My friend Mike. Mike just gifted you Book of Jewels. So Jessica, do me a favor and Jessica, and email me your name and your shipping address, and I'll gift you Book of Jewels, courtesy of Mike. Thank you, Mike, for doing that. I appreciate that. Hey, Amber. Hey, girl. Hey. Do you have a question?
No, I just wanted to come and talk about some stuff.
Oh, what do you want to talk about?
I have questions, but they need to be private, so I ain't gonna really get into all of that. I already DM'd you about the stuff that I had questions about. But I feel like homegirl that was before me, like she already knew all of that stuff that you were saying. She just don't.
And people sometimes just need confirmation. They need that push.
Not even confirmation, like they. Because y'all never really got to the meat of why she's still with him.
Because, and you know why? Because because I really just wanted to plant the seeds. I didn't need her to answer why she's still with him. That's something for her to think about. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't really have to give it to me. I want her to really just start thinking about it. And then, because I really believe that whatever I said to her is like sending a vibration into the universe, right? And eventually that ripple effect will cause her to change. to no longer need that type of dysfunction in her life. Sometimes we crave dysfunction because that's what we grew up seeing, or that's the pattern, the dating pattern that we had. You know what I'm saying? So, because some people get into relationships, and if it doesn't have a certain amount of drama, then they getting out of it because it's not.
Y'all don't be tired of that though. Like they not be tired of that. I'm 19 and I ain't never wanted to deal with it.
Right.
Anyway, I got some notes on a couple of things that I just want to touch on.
I'm dropping the link in the comments if you'd like to ask a question. I'm not reading the questions here. Just join the link. You don't have to show your video. You don't have to show your face. Go ahead, Amber.
Well, most of my stuff was on friendships and just relationships of any sort, and it's like a lot of people don't take them serious. Like, because any kind of relationship that you have with somebody, whether it's romantic or platonic, all of that stuff, it leaves an impact on people. I don't think a lot of people care about the actual impact that they leave on people while they're in their life, or you know what I'm saying, how it affects them once they leave their life, especially with friendships, because I feel like people think that friends are so disposable because, oh, I'm not sleeping with you, we're not married, and it's not that serious because we're not in like, a romantic relationship, so it really don't matter. Or that's how a lot of people treat friendships. And to me, I've always I feel like you should treat friendships the same way you treat your romantic partners. The only thing that's different is you don't have sex with them. You should still effectively communicate with them. You should still check in on them. And like you were saying on Patreon, friendships, they should be equitable. Like you get at different points in your life where you can't exactly give somebody the same things that they give you just because of, that's just how life is. But outside of monetary help or emotional help, like you can't always give somebody the exact same thing they're giving you, but you should at least try. And I feel like a lot of people don't even do that. And people spend a lot of time talking stuff, oh, I'm just busy, or I don't have the time. And before I started working and getting busy, and before I came into my adulthood, I felt like that was a valid, excuse, until I started working and being busy. And I'm just like, bro, I still make time for people. So it's really just brought down to the fact that people don't want to.
Right.
And if they wanted to, they would have. And what else? I used to be the kind of person that would always reach out, always text first. How you doing? How was your day? How was work? And all this other kind of stuff. Even when I wasn't, doing the best myself mentally or financially or whatever it is. But I stopped doing that because you give so much of your energy to a lot of people and it's not reciprocated. And then you find yourself not wanting to be around people, not wanting to be friends, because there's so many people like, oh, I don't have friends and I don't want friends. Stay away from them kind of people, because everybody needs friends, everybody needs support, everybody needs a team. You know what I'm saying? Around them, to rally around them. Yeah,
I call it a tribe. You got to have your tribe.
Yeah, like stay away from them kind of people, because those kind of people that say, oh, I don't want friends, I don't need friends, they haven't healed and they haven't done any of that in the work. Because most people know who have at least tried to heal or on the path to healing. That there's divine people that are placed in your life that you need, you know what I'm saying, to walk throughout life with. So you gotta stay away from them kind of folks and hold people accountable for how they treat you. Please hold people accountable for how they treat you. Do not just deal with anything. If that's in relationships, friendships, everything, please hold people accountable. Last year, and I know last year was a rough year for a lot of us. For me, I was going through a spiritual awakening, and I was dealing with mental health stuff and just family stuff. And once I started holding people accountable for how they were treating me, people started to act different or feel some kind of way. And because people are mirrors, so whatever you give them, it triggers them in a certain kind of way. So once I started holding people accountable, people started calling, oh, she's mean, or she's being a bitch, or this, that, and the third. And I tell people all the time, if me holding you accountable and setting up boundaries in my life so you can stop disrespecting me or taking all of my energy and my joy, then I'll be a bitch 24/7. I don't care. I'll be that. So and even with family members, like me and my mom, we was going through a patch because I started, setting up boundaries. And when people realize that they don't have, you know, they're not disposable, or you're not in their hands like putty anymore, and they can't do whatever they want to do and manipulate you and control you, they feel some kind of way about it.
Right. Jessica, that's my Cash App right here. Is the writer. I
can't see any questions. So are people saying anything? Do I have any questions?
Yeah, they talking. They're not asking questions though now.
Oh, okay. So that's just a lot of stuff that I had to say, and staying firm with your boundaries, and people need to give more in relationships and stop burning people out, because people do get tired of giving. But my spiritual advisor did tell me is that givers never lack. But people do get tired, like you get tired of always being the person that's doing it. So stop attaching yourself to people that don't like to give, that they don't care about the people around them, because if they don't care about the people around them, they should let you know that they don't care about themselves. And people that don't care about themselves, they don't care about you. So stay away from them kind of people.
Right. All right. Well, thank you, Amber.
So I'll be right back. Thank you. But you're welcome. I just want to come on here and talk to y'all a little bit.
All right. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mike Watson.
What's going on, guys? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, over there in Phoenix, Arizona, right?
Absolutely. So I just jumped on because I'm actually working right now. But the young
lady, I want to know what you do, Mike.
I'm the HR guy. I work in HR.
Okay.
Actually, truth be told, I'm actually sending out some rejection emails from some interviews that I did today.
Right. Okay.
If you check your Cash App, I gifted I want to get her the Book of Jewels. I loved it. You know, I did. I've said before, I want to get it in the hands of as many people as I think that, you know, young Black gay men. I think there's just so much information in there. So I did send that. I was trying to jump on earlier, but of course, Amber got to get on there. No, I'm kidding. Love you, Amber.
Yeah.
I just wanted to jump on and let you know that I did that, and hopefully she's still on, and she can get you some of her information.
She is. So, Jessica, don't forget to email me through my website, craigthewriterstory.com. It's scrolling at the bottom. Mike is going to gift you the book. And then I have a book that I'm going to gift from Marie and from, I think it was, who did I say earlier? Jeremy McFarland. He's gifting a book. So I have 2 more books to gift after this. But thank you, Mike. I really appreciate it because, yes, you and I have talked a lot in my DMs, and you told me how you felt about Book of Jewels and how you want to get it to so many people. So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yes. Your memory is amazing, my friend.
Yes, I do. She said she just emailed me, so I got it.
Cool. Okay, well, take care, guys. Thank you so much. I'll jump on again some other time. Love you.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Bye, guys.
Hey there, who is this? Therefore I am. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
I can. How are you?
I'm good, Mr. Stewart. How are you this evening?
Where are you? I'm well. I'm well. Thank you. Where are you watching from?
I am watching from the great state of Georgia.
Come on, Georgia.
And yes, originally from Illinois, Chicago, to be specifically. But okay. I would like to ask, could you please add a section for the stay-at-home mothers?
Yes. Yeah. Come on, stay-at-home mom. We're going to give priority to the stay-at-home moms, though.
Well, you know what? I'm not even seeking priority. What I love about you, Craig, is that you celebrate everybody where they are and where they want to be.
Well, I appreciate you seeing that, because some people think that I just be trying to be shady and, you know.
Craig, you have a very British sense of humor.
Yes.
And I get it, because all of my life, most of my friends have been either African immigrants or Africans who were educated in Europe. I don't know why. I'm a military baby.
Okay.
So I get those different types of sense of humors. Here in America, we are quick to get sensitive, but not to critically think about what is being said. So I would advise people, if you want to get used to Craig, take some time and watch the British Parliament. Because if I'm going to be insulted, let me be insulted by somebody who's intelligent.
Right. You know, one of my favorite shows, Carlton and I watched this. That's one of the things we had in common. I used to watch this when I was in college. And then when he and I got together, he was like, I want to show you one of my favorite shows, but you might think I'm corny. It's called Keeping Up Appearances.
No. Have you
ever seen it?
I love Miss Hyacinth. I know who you're talking about because I watch Are You Being Served? I love that show.
That's his favorite.
However,
When he started me watching it. Yeah.
I grew up on PBS. Okay. You
Yeah.
had the opportunity to watch all those shows on PBS. But
Uh-huh.
I wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
I'm 42 and I didn't come out, so to speak. And I hate saying that because I don't feel like that people born up under the sign of the rainbow, and that's what I call it, the sign of the rainbow. We should have to announce our existence. That's why my name is Therefore I Am. I was born a human being, and that should be enough. However, I've had difficulty meshing with the rainbow community because my character defines me, not who I love, not my sexuality, not my gender, but how I treat you and how you treat me. And I have had people tell me, both gay and straight, oh, you're gay? Oh, but you're so cute with it. I would have never known. And I'm like, what does cute with it mean?
Right.
And then an older gay woman had to break it down to me. She said, you don't announce yourself. You're not waving the flag. You're not over exaggerating yourself. You're not, because I am a Black woman, you're not trying to fit a particular mode. And so she started talking about when she was younger, when she was growing up, and she's 75. She said there was either two types in the lesbian community. You were either butch/dyke or femme. And she says even for her, it's difficult. So I want to ask you, what is this obsessive need to, once you find out what your truth is, whatever sign you was born of, to immediately run to a homogenous group as if that's going to make you more? Yes. Where did that? I have suspicions on where it originated from. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like there's really two communities. There's the white queer community, and then there's the Black queer community. And I don't think that the white queer community really is fighting for us.
Let me pause you right there. Therefore I am. I don't know if you were on here the entire live, but I literally just said a couple moments ago, I think a part of my life work while I was born is to create work, whether it's books, stage plays, television shows, to bridge communities. And I literally just said there's a divide between the Black gay community and the white gay community. And one of the reasons that I have been so unabashed in saying that when I sit down to write and create projects, I'm writing for Black people. That doesn't mean that the work isn't for white folks or anybody else. It's for whomever can glean from it. But when I sit down to create, I'm writing for Black people because one of the things that I say is white folks have had more practice at being gay. It doesn't mean that Black folks weren't gay, but Black folks have not been out in gay as long as white folks. And so they have all of these communities for them, GLAAD, HRC, that they don't really represent us fully. And the reason why we broke off and started Black gay pride events across this country is because they weren't inclusive. The white prides weren't inclusive. The entertainment wasn't inclusive. They didn't consider us. They didn't think about us when they were making these plans and doing different things. But to your original question, I think part of the reason when people come out and they live with this badge of honor, like that they're gay and they just got to be this, that, and the third, and that's fine if that's who you are. But I think a great portion or proportion of the community that does that do it because it's like, now that I'm out, now that I'm standing in my truth, I want to just kind of shout it from the mountaintop. It's kind of like a new Christian. When a person go get saved and all of a sudden they want to tell you about God. Every time you talk to them, oh yeah, God is so good. Oh, the Lord is this. Like, it's like they want to just throw it in your face. And, you know, for me, I used to say this when I was single, like the perfect guy for me would be a guy who's comfortable in his skin, but has a healthy distance from the community. Because I didn't want a guy that was so ensconced in, like, for example, I dated a guy, this was years ago, the very first guy that I ever went out with, he literally would never go to like straight places. So like I would want to go to the Shark Bar at the time. The Shark Bar was it was a restaurant here. And he never wanted to, he's like, oh, I don't go to straight places. He only moved within the gay community. And, you know, to each his own. You still there? I think we lost her. But I hope that answers the question. All right, so we got a few people. Oh, I think she was just saying something. I think there was a delay. If you want to come back in, you can. Tanny Joy.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I had to jump on here. First of all, I'm packaging your stuff up right now as we speak.
Okay. Where are you watching from for the Honest Hour? You talking about for
I'm
the
in Dallas. I'm in Dallas.
Okay. And you're packaging stuff for the Honest Hour?
Yes, I am.
All right.
So you want to talk about me?
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not going to talk about you. What's your question? Did you have a question?
Yeah. So I want to talk about like the current state of dating, especially for people over the age of 35. So I'm 39, single, no kids, don't want any kids. Also, I don't prefer to date anybody with kids. And so, that's a struggle sometimes. But recently I met a guy online through Facebook. And we've been conversing and, talking, getting to know. Well, he approached me and said that he wanted to get to know me, right? So but he lacks communication skills. Like, he's a smart guy. He works for the government. Like, there's a lot of good things, college degree. But when it comes to like conversing and talking, it's always a dead end, right? You always get the "what are you doing" messages. Hi, hey, good morning. What are you doing? And then it kind of dies down. Or if I try to bring up certain topics, we'll talk for like a few minutes and then it's over. So I did bring it up to him. And, it's the same thing. Like, I'll make adjustments and,
Don't shrink. Don't shrink. And don't start negotiating your standards. If you feel like you have to always kind of encourage the conversation, because remember, I just said a moment ago, a man should adore you. You don't need to chase him. Move on. Because if a man is only interested if you're interesting. And the only way he's going to know if you're interesting is if he pursues you. So if he's not taking those steps, then don't keep reaching out to him, because you're setting the precedence. You're setting the standard for how your relationship is going to be. That's going to spill over into every time y'all go on a date. It's going to be you making the suggestion. Every time y'all travel, you're going to have to make the suggestion. Like, you want somebody who's going to meet. And I was very clear about that when I was single. And I write about that in Book of Jewels as well. The next relationship I get in, you're going to have to meet me in the middle. I'm not asking you to do more than I do, but I need you to meet me in the middle. That's in communication. That's in diffusing arguments. That's in making up. That's in, you know what I'm saying? It's in all of those areas. You know what I'm saying?
So like, he's younger than me. And I've never.
How much younger?
6 years. Well,
that's not bad. He's 33.
Yeah, he just turned 33.
Right. So yeah, that's not bad.
But in man years, that's more like 27. Like,
could be.
And so
now Carlson is 40 on paper. Okay.
Look, Carlson's mature though. So
baby, when I say he 40 on paper, sometimes he act like he older than me.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not. I love it. I love it. But go ahead.
So no, it's cool. So I did let him know ahead of time, like, hey, you don't have any kids. If you want some, this is not where it's at. Like, you're not getting kids from me. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I like to travel. I have my own money. I have my business on the side. And then now he's saying, like, you're too busy. He's like, oh, well, you're busy. Every time I hit you up, you're busy. I'm like, but I make time for what I want to make time for.
And here's the other thing I want you to stop doing. Stop having all these conversations with him through text. Let that Negro pick up the phone and call you.
Yeah. That's another
thing. Stop engaging in that.
I think it's so easy though with us working during the daytime to tend to, like, we do talk on the phone. We do talk on the phone. And actually we did like meet up during this whole quarantine situation.
And don't feel like you always got to suggest stuff. Let him suggest stuff. I've said this so many times before, and I say this to the women in my life, my female friends. One of the things that I literally taught some of my female friends, like my friend Angela, I talk about Angela all of the time. I said, whenever you're with a guy, I don't care if he's straight or gay, when you walk up to a door, you need to step to the side and let him open the door. You need to condition him. You got to be different. You got to be different. You got to separate yourself. You got to be different. And I also told her, I said, stop doing all the work. Stop doing all the heavy emotional lifting. It's not your responsibility to message him every morning and make sure that he's, because if you stop.
Oh no, I don't do that. Oh no, boo. No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't message. Like the last time we messaged, like he never. Well, he didn't respond back to my last message, so it's been about 4 days. I'm just like, okay, I'm over. I'm done. But I'm pretty sure he's gonna eventually like lean in and be like, hey, I ain't talked to you in a while. Like, do I just ignore him, or do I just say like, look, this ain't like, move on with your life, or do I just go?
This particular time, I wouldn't say ignore him, but I would definitely call his attention to. Well, I texted you 4 days ago and you never responded. Like, bring it to his attention. See, a lot of times women don't want to point to the issue because they believe that, and not even just women, because gay men do it too, but sometimes people don't want to point to the issue because they feel like the relationship, and I don't mean that you're in a relationship, but the relationship is so fragile that it's going to fall apart if you point something out. But if it's that fragile, you don't need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just don't want you to get into a habit where you're continuously entertaining him through text. No, I need you to call me.
Right. So the message I sent the other day was pretty much, I said, hey, just let me know if you are truly interested. If not, I'm going to move my energy elsewhere.
But see, you don't have to ask him that because he's showing you. That's what I want you to see. If he was really, really into you, and he might be, but maybe he just hasn't decided it yet. I don't know. Maybe he got shit going on. What I'm saying is you don't ever go off of what he's saying to you. You go off of what he's showing you. Because a man will move heaven and earth for a woman that he's really interested in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to make these excuses for him. Like,
but why, so why reach out to somebody? Like, I was living my best single life for a couple of years, doing my own thing, and then you reach out like, hey, I'm interested in getting to know you. Leave me alone, bro. Leave me alone. You shouldn't even contacted me.
But here's the thing too. Sometimes people like what they see, and then when they get to you, they realize that they're not enough to even sustain you. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people are going to think that that's cocky of me, but I don't intend for it to be cocky. But you have to know your value. And what I'm telling you is, I used to date down. I talk about that in one of the first two books. I used to date down. I used to date guys that weren't even really up to snuff. And that doesn't mean that I thought that I was better than them. But what I mean is they would have never been able to love me in the way that I needed them to love me, right? They weren't able to bring to the table what I needed to be satisfied. And so I would lower the bar. But what I'm telling you is, when I was lowering the bar, I was dating guys who were so enamored. Oh my God, you're educated. You're this. Your body is, whatever it is that they say about you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized that once they got with me, all of that stuff that they loved and adored about me, it was suffocating them. It was too much for them. And they'll start to tell you stuff like, I don't even think I'm on your level. Oh, okay. You know what? You're probably not. Let me get up out of here.
Okay.
If you're trying to convince that they're on your level, he's not worthy. He's not ready for you, because then you're going to spend your entire relationship. If you do get in a relationship with him, you're going to be in that relationship pacifying his insecurities.
Got it.
Maybe you need to get Book of Jewels if you don't have it. This is in there. You're going to spend so much time trying to pacify his insecurities. He can be like, well, why are you looking at that guy? And Why are you You're going to be answering all these questions because he never really believed that he was on your level in the first place. But anyway, let me move to the next person. She dropped off, but let me go to the next person. Christina.
Hi, Craig.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, boy. Hey, how are you?
I'm well. Where are you watching from? Sound like you're in your car.
I got my AirPods on. I'm in the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
I have a toddler who's running in here because every time she hears me talk, she wants to be the center of attention.
Oh,
who is
this?
Who is that? From my little sister. I'll explain in a couple seconds. But
okay.
I'm watching from St. Louis, Missouri. So you need to get some Missouri girl, Missouri boy sweatshirts, okay?
Okay. I got you. Let me write that down.
Write that down. Take that note real quick. But so I wanted to ask you, let me just kind of give you a little bit of background.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 years ago, there were some issues. I've been an only child I'm 28. So for the last 25 years, I've been an only child. And 2 years ago, my dad pretty much told me he had another baby. And I didn't know that in that next February that, I would be raising her. Pretty much the the courts and everything got involved. And since he does over the road truck driving, I said, I'll take my sister.
Okay.
And so I've been doing that for the last, going on 3 years. And it's been as I'm getting older, I'm like, man, I don't know anymore, like what my purpose is or what I want to do with my life. So I just wanted some tips on like how to, and I have Book of Jewels, I've read it, but child, I'm about to read it again because I just need that stuff in me again. But
well,
like
here's the thing.
Tips
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say some tips on how I can just refine my purpose and, figure out what I want to do. I do want to start a podcast, so I have a question on that after this. So I'm going to mute myself just in case she make a lot of noise.
Okay. So here's what I will tell you. Every single thing happens when and as it should. So even though you didn't foresee having to raise this little girl, your sister, the universe knew that. God already knew that. So everything is set up for your success. And I say this all the time. Here's another book that you need to read. I did not write this book. This is it's called The Alchemist, if you haven't read it already. And the book, The Alchemist, talks about how the universe conspires to work in your favor. It work. Everything that happens in life, it's coming together for your greatest good. So even that might be a burden or stress raising this little girl. You might feel like you're off course. You're really not off course. And now in Book of Jewels, I do say, even when it feels like your life is off course, people can still see the calling on your life. I never raised a child like you are, but everybody's story is different, but it's the same thing. It's the same makings, right? So like there were times that I wanted to be working on my stage play or my greeting cards or something creative, right? But I had to take a day job because it was a means to an end, right? But I felt like I was off course. And so I would get caught up in these jobs. Sometimes they would be just like a little day job. And sometimes it was a corporate job because I needed to pay my bills. And there were times that I felt like, oh my God, I'm off course. Like I hadn't even written anything or worked on anything or done anything creative because I was so busy caught up in the rat race of making money and working. And there was a period where I was like, God, I don't want to have to work a job because then I'm not going to be creative. And so what I realized looking back is that every single one of those jobs that I thought was a distraction was really setting me up for where I am right now. Everything that I learned on all of those jobs, every single thing that I learned on all of those jobs, I use it right now in my business, in running my own business. So I don't know what the purpose is for you raising your sister, and you clearly don't know just yet, but it's coming. And so what I will suggest you do is start praying and asking God, asking the universe, however you see it. Just take time every single day or every single moment that you get frustrated with the process of raising her or whatever that comes, right? You need to say to God, to the universe, what is it that you would have me learn from this? That's what your prayer needs to become. And you keep saying it every single time you get stressed out, frustrated, whatever, and the answer will reveal itself. It will eventually reveal itself. And then you will know why you were called to raise this little girl. But it's not a distraction. It's not going to take you off course. You can never be pulled away from your calling. You never can be.
Wow. Thank you so much, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing is, well, a couple things here, since I got you here live.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Sydney?
Sydney, I tried to get Sydney to come over last week, and he was like, oh, I'm going to get my face shaved because we're going to Miami for Will's birthday. So I've been trying to get Sydney over here. But I told Carlton, I said, he better not wait till I get on TV and then want to come over here and try to sell them candles.
Right, because he'll show say SP signatures, honey. But the other thing is, what are some tips on like starting a podcast? Because I do want to start a podcast. I'm very passionate about people taking care of themselves mentally. I think I'm a mental health advocate, and I think that's very, very important. And so that's what I would kind of center the podcast around. What are your tips? Do you have any like tools or resources that you specifically use as far as like software and stuff like that?
Yeah. When I had I was fortunate to know a couple people who did podcasts. So I was able to pick their brain. So you want to look up Libsyn. It's Libsyn, Libsyn. and Libsyn Syndicated is what it's called. And that's the service that I use to distribute the podcast across Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of those places. The only place that you have to do separately is SoundCloud. Like you do SoundCloud separately. So whenever you record your podcast and you upload the final podcast to Libsyn and you release it to all of those different outlets. So my first suggestion to you would be to get a USB microphone. It doesn't have to be, like a microphone that plugs into. I can't unplug it because then you won't be able to hear it. Yeah, it plugs into the computer. So get you a USB microphone. Now, when I first started mine, I bought a used one. I bought 2 used ones from Guitar Center. But you got Amazon now. Go on Amazon. You can find you an inexpensive microphone on there. And if a budget is really of concern, you only need to get one, set it in the middle of the table, and y'all share the microphone.
Okay.
But yeah, so start with Libsyn. Look them up because, again, that's going to be the software that you're going to use. There's another one called Blueberry, but I never used them because Libsyn to me was a lot more user-friendly. So I use Libsyn.
Got it. Well, thank you. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you pouring into me tonight.
No
and
problem.
Pouring into everybody like you always do. And
you're welcome. All right. Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Asia.
Hey, Craig.
Girl, you look like you at work. So I said, let me get her on here.
Listen, I had to dip off first.
Look, she got her badge on. Look at her badge around her neck. Look at her badge.
Hold on.
Cover your badge up, niece.
I did. I put it in my jacket. I'm not going to monopolize your time because I'm busy myself. But
at work on them white people's time. On them white people's time at work.
Listen.
What city are you in? What city are you in? Hold on.
So I work I'm from a small city.
You a CNA girl or you a nurse? Are you a CNA or a
baby,
nurse?
Hold on. Let me chin check you. My name is Asia, standard for BSN, RN, CCRN. I am a certified critical care registered nurse, baby. Don't do me.
Come on, somebody.
What
city you in? Did I miss that? What city you?
So I work in Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm currently working on my doctorate nurse practitioner, baby. Don't come for me.
She fancy. She real important. Didn't she clear me? She cleared me.
Listen, because you won't do me. Okay, but Craig, so this is what I'm interested in. So I watch a lot of your old videos, especially on my night shifts. You know what I would like to see you do?
What's that?
You know how Maddie does Beyond the Bench? And she'll go back and look at some of her older stuff and review.
Oh, really?
I would love, because see, I would like to gain your perspective on some of your old videos and how you view things now. Because I hear you say certain things.
And you wonder if I feel
I'm
the same way?
Right. I'm like, I don't think he would have handled the situation the same. Or I'm curious as to how he would advise that person now or whatever. I would love for you to replay the video with us. And you give your commentary. I would love that. I really, really would love that.
Let me ask you this. Is there one thing in particular that you can think of that I said on a video and you were like, I wonder if he would think the same way today? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Not off the top of my head. Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
But
oh my God, that is a really good idea.
I would love that. I would love that. Even if you were to go back, because you know what? You know one would be funny? If you went back and reviewed the video when all y'all was sitting on Carlton's porch, when Donald sashayed his tail in there, listen,
you better remember his name. Listen, I can't even remember his name sometimes.
Listen, and I will say too, because I don't know how many on your Patreon or whatever, but there's also another little person that that was at that gathering that you don't associate with no more either. Right. So
you're talking about Lamont, aka Lamont.
Right.
I'm from Baltimore. What?
Right. So I would love to have you.
That's a good idea.
Comes to mind. I'm trying to think just off the top of my head, but that one in particular is one of the first ones that comes to mind that I would love.
That's a good idea. Mm-hmm. I'll probably have to get with Oliver to pull that off.
Yeah, that would take
a good idea.
Meeting of the minds, but that would be awesome. Well, I'm going to get back to my patient because I slid off in another ICU room, and it's absolutely
look, patient over there about the flatline. She over here talking to us.
Listen, because I watch my monitors everywhere I go. Don't try me. I can see a monitor from wherever. Don't worry. Listen.
Wait a minute. Are you West Indian by chance?
No, I'm not. People ask me that. I'm not.
I can hear a little something in there.
I am a good old black girl from Mulberry, Florida. No. I do travel nursing as well. I just came back from California 3 days ago.
Oh,
But
so
when I
she
was
making
in,
good money.
listen, don't count my
Because I know they
coins.
pay
Just
for
know
your
I'm straight.
accommodations and everything.
Listen, don't count my coins. Just know I'm good.
Oh my
Just
God,
know
you're
I'm good.
crazy.
But I had when I was in Boston back when COVID really hit
And she said
New
she was about to get
England.
off.
I was, and I am. But I had someone told me a guy who was he was from Guyana. He came to me. He said, "Where are you from?" And I told him where I was from. He was like, "I know people in my country that look like you."
Really?
So I'm
That might be where
considering
your roots are, though. That might be where your
maybe
roots
so. I would be interested to do like the genetic mapping and all that. However, with those genetic companies, there's this clause that they own your DNA. So I don't know how I feel about that. And
Yeah.
if you don't, for those of you who don't know, in the GED section or whatever, if you don't know what they do with DNA, you need to look up
Henrietta Lack.
Henrietta Lacks, because baby, when I tell you, she is the
blueprint
mother of
every
so
major
many
breakthrough.
medications to this day. Ovarian cancer, they create medications with her cells even now. So
yeah.
we ain't gonna use my DNA and not pay me.
And her family was never compensated for that.
Yep. So
I talked about that on the live before.
All right. Well, I am gonna go. Thank
All
you
right.
so much. Take care.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye-bye. She was fun. Is this Aisha Patel?
Yes, it is. Hello.
Hey, Niece.
How are you? Let me just say, I have been binge watching you and T.S. Madison the last month. If I'm at work or if I'm home, I pop you guys on in the morning at the car. You guys are everything. You have been giving me life.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Where are you watching from, Aisha?
I'm actually I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And what made me follow you is I was watching your video called it's called Punani. And I was like, wait a sec, because I went left and I was like, well, let me see what he's talking about. Come to find out it was a rap. And then towards the end of the video, you were talking about career and writing your book. By the way, I am definitely gonna get all of your books and a teacup. How you been?
Thank you.
And so my question is about career, because one of the things that stood out to me when you were talking about your book, before you even wrote the book, is that you leaped into it. You went to California and was like, listen, my car insurance, I don't have it. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I know I have to go. And I love the fact that you are a man of faith. And so I'm 33 years old and I've been going through it, trying to figure out what I want to do, like to the point where I'm in counseling for it. Cause I'm like, listen, Ish, you're 33 years old. You have associates in communications, but you don't want to do anything with it. And so I'm not really sure what I want to do. And I'm like, okay, Ish, you've been saying that since you were 16, but now you're 33. It's serious. Now, I just published a book back in August. It's a little 98-page book.
What's it called?
It's called Exodus.
And where can they find it?
Amazon.
Okay. Exodus on Amazon.
Yes. I actually wanted to send in. I'm not sure if you review books on your honest hour.
Yeah, you can send it.
Okay. Yeah. I want your honest opinion, the shade and all, because I want it. I want to know.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, Ish, so you publish this book. Now, what do you want to do? Like I don't really love what I'm doing right now. I'm an assistant manager for 2 hotels.
Okay.
And I really hate it. Like I'm good with communication. I'm good thinking fast on my feet. But I wish I had the balls you had to say, you know what? I'm just going to struggle until I make it when it comes to my writing, when it comes to my book.
But based on what you're telling me, you're not sure what that other thing is, though. I was clear about what I wanted. It still was a big leap.
Yeah.
But
and exactly. I'm just not clear.
Right.
And like I've gone as far as being so corny and putting like a little vision board, like, okay, Ish, this is what you're good at.
I believe in vision boards.
Yeah, like, okay, Ish, this is what you're good at. These are your strengths.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a woman of faith, and I've received prophetic words that made sense, because people try to say a lot of fluff.
Yeah.
But I've the prophetic words that I've received that were consistent was that that God will use my writing to shake people to their core. And I'm like, okay, so I keep that at the top of my vision board, but it's like, okay, what does that look like? And I think that's why, and I'm not ashamed to say that I'm in therapy. I'm in therapy to unblock whatever is stopping me,
That's a good thing.
Because I've had a rough childhood and growing up. So it makes sense on paper to say, okay, baby, it makes sense why you're kind of blocked, but let's just unravel that more. So I don't know. I'm just looking for some advice to say, okay, Aisha, this is what you should be doing in addition to your therapy.
Well, I'm going to tell you, your voice, it sounds like you could be doing some voiceover work.
All right.
I don't know if you...
Yes, do the look back.
Right.
The first time I saw you do the look back, I promise you were looking at somebody. I said, wait, who's over there? I know he's going to scan the camera. I promise. It took me about the third video in for me to say, oh, he's being shady. I love it.
Usually when people first start watching, they're like, who's over there? Who's he looking at?
I promise you. I was like, wait, is he talking to someone? Oh, no.
Right.
That's a whole thing. And I love it. I promise you I'm gonna use it one day.
Yes. But no, I mean, you really do have one of those voices. And voiceover work is vast. Like, it doesn't have to be just reading books or doing cartoons. It could be doing like meditation sessions. You know what I'm saying? Like, people listen to all kinds of things. But what I was going to say was, you said you're 33, right?
Yes.
See, you're in that age where you're trying to figure out what you want to do. That's the age where all of that kind of happens. Like, either you're still trying to figure it out, or you've landed on that thing and you're trying to figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah.
For me, I had landed on that thing, but I was trying to figure out how to make it happen. What I had to learn was that you can't make it happen. The universe unfolds when it's supposed to. So the same thing with you. Therapy is a great first step. That's a great first step.
Yes, child, twice a month.
Yeah, and the vision board is another great step. But what you have to figure out is, what is it that you would do if you could do it for free? It just comes natural to you. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's hard to figure out what that is when it's not a tangible thing. Like, if you're not a writer or a singer or a dancer, like when it's not something that you can really put your hand on, it's sometimes harder. But sometimes people's gift is connecting other people together. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? One of the things I do love to do that comes very naturally to me, and even if I'm in a bad mood, I love encouraging people. I really do. I love looking at someone's situation or their life or their struggle and say, you know what, everything's gonna be all right. And I just like uplifting people. But for me, realistically, I don't like to struggle. I like to pay my bills on time.
Well, but the thing is, you may have to still continue to work until, like I heard Denzel Washington say a long time ago, you do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. So you may still have to work at those hotels, but then maybe eventually it'll drop down to one hotel, and then you're not at either hotel. But I don't know if you saw the conversation that I did with Andra. She's the owner of Cammy Cakes. It's a bakery here. She used to work at a hotel, and she hated it. She was the night auditor, and she had these she had these dreams of starting her own bakery. And she started visiting like her favorite bakeries, and she would just imagine herself there. There really is power in it. And I say this all the time, and it's in here. Your imagination is God's proof to you of what's possible in your life. Like, if you see yourself being this spiritual teacher, this motivational person or speaker, it can happen, because if it couldn't happen, he wouldn't have given you the vision.
Amen. Yeah.
You know, so it may be somewhere in that book, because Exodus, is that some type of spiritual teaching?
Well, yeah, because the book of Exodus, you know that when Moses went back and he spoke to Pharaoh and he was like, let my people go. Once they left, the journey from Egypt out was difficult for them because they were stuck in a slave mentality. And so my book, it's actually, it's called Exodus, and my name is Aisha Green. I just go on Aisha Patel. It's for business purposes, right?
Okay.
And I'm gonna send it to you and everything, so you'll have it. But
Okay.
it talked about my journey. The introduction was about my childhood, and then chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4 were the different denominations that I went to, and how with the my Egypt mentality on my journey through these different denominations, how I still was enslaved, and how these so-called church folk kind of used that to hinder me even more. And it just talks about how I'm finally out of that, my Exodus journey.
Okay. But yeah, I think you're making the right steps so far.
Okay, well, that's encouraging. I appreciate
Yeah. You're welcome.
it.
And yeah, send us the book.
I got you.
All right.
Be blessed.
Bye-bye. Sean Yarborough. Sean.
Hey, Craig.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey. Hey, boy. Hey. I'm always a quiet voice in the room, but tonight I had to jump in.
Yes. And where are you watching
So
from?
can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can. You sound good.
Perfect. So I live outside of Dallas.
Okay.
I live in Sexy, Texas.
It's called Sexy, Texas.
But yeah, so I wanted to chime in and say a couple things tonight because some people said some things that I wanted to come in. Sexy.
Okay.
It's a little suburb outside of DFW.
Okay.
But I wanted to make a couple comments on a few things that some people have said tonight. One being, I often notice that when you and Madison have conversations about her being single and you now being in a relationship, it often brings up the question for me is why see her in a relationship? Because it's as if I get approached with the same sentiment, and it comes from a good place from you to her that you want to see her in a relationship and happy. But here's the thing. I think I have discovered at this point in my life, and I'm 49, that it's okay to not be in a relationship. One step for me, I've accepted me, and so at this point, it may not be in the cards for me, and not everyone's going to be in a Craig and Carlton relationship, right? But
I
know that
agree.
it comes from a good place from you when you're talking with Madison on that. And so all of my friends are always like, why are you single? You deserve somebody. I get all of that, but I'm happy. And it is okay. And so, Teeny Joy had mentioned, and the thing I have learned getting to 49 years old in my life is that when you do it for a man, you do it for him, and he's gonna let you know. And so until that person in my life, I'm very content to be single.
Right.
And not settle.
And when I was single, I was content too.
Somebody
then,
said tech support. Does that mean they can't hear me?
It's kind of going in and out, but I heard everything that you were saying. But no, I too was very happy when I was single, but I did have my moments where I was like, okay, I'm tired of the single shit. I'm ready to be with somebody, but I definitely want to underscore that if you are single, it is okay to be single. And I believe that there are points in all of our lives where it's necessary to be single. And to your point, not everybody's gonna have that happy ever. Your happy ever may be single, and that's okay. It really is okay. It really is about what you want, and that's even in terms of how we date. And I've talked about this before. I think sometimes people date with their friends and family members in mind. Like you won't date a certain guy because he works at a Target, but you really like this guy, but you're worried about what they're going to think. The same is true in terms of being in relationships. Don't try to be in a relationship just because all of your friends are in a relationship or because you're the only woman in your family that's not married with children yet.
I totally agree.
You know what I mean? Like you have to figure out what you were called to do. Like what, how do you want your life to be?
I totally agree with that. I just don't understand the mentality where people feel like, oh, well, I need to be in a relationship. Well, also, you also need to, not bring baggage from your old relationships into new relationships. And the only way to do that is to spend time unpacking you. And I hear you talk about that often on a couple of your lives. You thought you had it all unpacked until you got into this relationship. So
Yes.
I'm telling you, people got to challenge themselves to disturb their
Yes.
packet, because you get rid of those triggers and those traumas.
Because every
And that doesn't have to be a
Go ahead.
That is correct. I was going to say, and it didn't even have to be a relationship from parents. It could be from family members. You still need to unpack that, because you don't need to take that into what you're trying to move forward to.
Right.
I
agree.
had to learn that the hard way, and I am.
Yeah. No, I get it, and you're absolutely
I
right.
appreciate you. I appreciate the books. I appreciate the laughter. I appreciate the serious subjects. I appreciate all the commentary.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you watching and supporting. All right, have a good night. Y'all are so rude in the comments. Anyway, Blue 335 Texas.
Hey, Craig, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm well.
That's good.
And so are you in Texas?
Yeah, I'm in Austin, Texas.
Okay, I've never been to Austin.
It's really nice. I mean, if you like a good drink, you definitely should come visit Texas, Austin, Texas specifically.
Okay. I've definitely been to Texas plenty of times, but I've never been to Austin.
Well, I'm originally from Dallas, so when Maddie and you came up here, I just couldn't make it up there. But in general, my question of the evening was, Asia stole my one recommendation, but I'm glad that you're considering going to do the reviews of your old videos, because I really like that. Because I kept like, when y'all do Gay Like Me conversations, I'm always like, can you do a recap episode? I really want to see that.
Yeah.
But currently the situation I'm in is that I'm doing this whole house hunting thing. And the situation with Austin, Texas real estate is it's trying to become like mini Silicon Valley. So all California people are moving to Austin, Texas, which is probably a similar thing to Atlanta. But I'm trying to reconcile like buying a condo versus a house. And as you're a condo owner, like, did you have that same type of mindset where you're like, I prefer a house, but this condo is more appealing? Or have you always just been a condo person?
So I'm renting this condo, but I have been considering buying it. But since I've been with Carlson has a house, and his house is so spacious, and I love all that space now. So I really feel like I've outgrown this place. But God willing, this TV show does well and these books go up, in sales and stuff. I'll buy this condo and keep it as an investment place, and then also get a house. I would say to you, if this is your first time buying, I would suggest a condo. And the only reason that I say a condo in a great area, though, so that if in the event you want to move out of it, you can still rent it, and it would be, it would be in demand because it's a good area or whatever, or you can Airbnb it. But and the reason why I suggest the condo is because you don't have to do anything. Like with the house, you have to take care of every single thing that goes wrong. Your toilet now, of course, in a condo, if you have a toilet issue, yes, you'll have to do that yourself. But in the event you have something like the grounds are taken care of by the HOA, you know what I'm saying? So like there's certain things that you don't have to worry about.
True. And that was one of the things that is a good selling point, but I've never mind doing yard work and things of that nature. I just grew up doing. I'm a Texas born and raised person. So doing that type of thing. My father is a carpenter / electrician. So it's a part of me to do a fixer upper. I just don't prefer a fixer upper, but the housing
trust your instincts. Trust your instincts.
Well, that's my instincts is to go towards a house, but I'm just like economically, a condo just sounds wiser.
Your
And that's where
your instincts. Trust your instincts. Don't worry about what it sounds like. Trust your instincts. The best decisions that I've made have always been the instances that I've trusted my instincts. So trust, if your instincts are telling you to buy the house, then buy the house. Don't worry about what sounds more appealing. What are your instincts telling you? And it sounds like your instincts are telling you to get the house.
Okay. Well, I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate your time, your comedy. I did buy the first 2 books. I have yet to buy the second 2 books or anything else of that matter. But
I appreciate that support.
Well, I also do Patreon, so I try to do a monthly support that way.
Hey, boy, hey.
Thank you, Craig, for your time. You have a good night. I'll just be in the background.
All right, have a good night. Is this my girl over in Bali?
Yes, it is. Hey, Craig, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
I am fabulous. I just put my clothes on, so I ain't naked today. You always come on when it's my time getting ready for the gym. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Now, the video is moving a little slow, but I can hear you just fine.
Okay, well, let me move over here. The Wi-Fi is something to be desired here in Bali. Is it better?
It is.
Okay. So, hey, Craig.
So wait a minute. You going to the gym like this?
Yes, and you was talking about me yesterday, and honey, I wear full face makeup, and I go in there and I gets it, okay?
I wasn't gonna say that, but you listen. As long as you going in there and you sweating that makeup off, that's fine. But you know, there are a lot of girls that go in there with a full face of makeup, and they're not really doing anything because they don't want it to.
No, I gets it done. I gets it done. But you know what? Here is when I heard you say that yesterday, it was so funny because I feel like I am more productive in the gym when I look good.
Okay.
When my sneakers match my hat, when you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, now I do feel like
when
that.
I'm looking good, then I can perform better in the gym. That's just me, though.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
So, first and foremost, I want to ask you a question because I must have missed the episode when you went to the cabin for the holiday and you and old boy had that text encounter. How did that end up when you went there? Did you talk about that?
Wait a minute. Wait, I went to the condo and I had a text encounter with who?
No, the cabin. When you went to the cabin and y'all was beefing about the no pun intended. Y'all was beefing about the vegan food.
Oh, girl, you took me way back.
Is that wasn't this year?
No, that was like 3 years ago.
Oh my God. See, you be tricking us with the I thought that was like recent holiday.
Okay, so let me tell you. So yeah, we did work things out. What's your name? You want me to call you I Am Goddess TV?
Just call me Goddess.
Goddess is talking about a video that I uploaded from Facebook. It came up as a Facebook memory and I uploaded it on YouTube. So yeah, that was 3 years ago. And so what happened was I had just stopped eating meat at that time. And so myself and like several of my friends from school and some people that I know from living here were going to a cabin. And one of the guys who coordinated it was like, well, I'm just going to eat whatever I want to eat, you know, because everybody was I was supposed to bring certain food. Everybody was supposed to bring certain food. And I was specifically bringing vegan stuff. And it was only myself and 2 other people that did not eat meat. And so they were all bringing chicken and all this other stuff. But his point was, well, I'm going to eat whatever I want to eat. And I said, well, if there's not a lot of vegan food, I'm going to need you to eat over there on the meat side. Because that tends to happen a lot. Even now when I do events and stuff, I'll have vegan food and I'll have meat. Tiffany Smith Bell can tell you. Christy Burt Williams can tell you. I did an event down here for when I released this 3rd book. And I had vegan meatballs and I had regular meatballs. Do you know them Negroes came in and ate the vegan meatballs first?
Of course.
So the people who didn't eat meat had nothing left. So we kind of got into it before we went up there, but we were good once I got there. Like we didn't even have any issues once I got there.
Oh, okay. I thought that was this past holiday.
No, that was
3 years ago.
That was 3 Christmases ago.
I was like, he didn't even finish the story. I didn't find out how it turned out. Okay, so that's one thing. Second thing is last night I joined your Patreon for writers.
I saw that.
And last night I also downloaded your second book.
Thank
You
you.
would be proud of me. I did my outline. See, that was what was holding me up with my book, Craig. I didn't even have an outline. So I did an outline. So I sectioned off what I was going to be writing about and, you know, what parts of my life and all that. And you were so right about the universe guiding and leading me, because I had a full day, a whole cry day. I cried. I was like, I wasn't even finna write about this. Why is this coming out of me? You know?
And see, when you got on the live that last time, that was one of the things I told you. I said, you should start an outline. So for those of you who don't know, I have a regular Patreon that's $5 a month. Like, it's just me and my friends hanging out or whatever it is that I'm doing. There's a $10 a month level where I tell you how I publish my book. I give you ideas and suggestions. And like when you email me and ask me stuff, I respond because you're paying $10 a month, right? Because I can't get to all those messages on Facebook and Instagram. When you email me, it's hard to do that. So I narrow it down when people, when they're really serious, they subscribe to that Patreon. So you took the advice and did the outline. And see, that's what I was telling you the last time when you were on the live about the book called The War of Art. When you make yourself available to the process, magic will happen. You just have to sit down to write. But a lot of times people will be like, well, I don't really know what I want to write about today, so nothing's coming to me. But you have to sit your ass down in the chair, and the universe will start to come through you. But the outline is a great way to start.
Well, check this out. And the book that you told me to download, I already had that in my Audible library.
See? See?
I already had it there.
See how the universe comes together?
Exactly. So that's the night that I downloaded the first book, Words Never Spoken.
Okay.
I went through that in 2 days. Phenomenal.
Thank you.
But you would be proud of me because I have been, you know, writing a little more.
That's awesome.
This is what I wanted to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
I told you that I was getting distracted a lot in my writing process, but I keep getting these ideas and I already have the outline for it with a lot of posts that I do on social media for a journey to plant-based lifestyle. The book is called, I wanted to do an ebook called Plant-Based Beauty, giving beauty tips, you know, on how food helps you to feel beautiful, how your skin changes, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, should I be working on the ebook while I'm working on the book of my life as well? Should I do one at a time? What do you think?
When the universe speaks to you, write it. Like when I started Say It in the Card, I was also writing my stage play, A Day in the Life. So there would be some days that I'd be sitting around, something will come to me, and I'd be like, is this a greeting card or is this dialogue for the stage play?
Right.
So sometimes I didn't know. So I would just write it out and put it to the side. And then as the stage play started to come together and form, I knew what was dialogue and I knew what was a greeting card. So just write it. Just get it off of you. Just write it so it can come out of you. And then you'll figure it out once it's out.
This morning I got up and I grabbed my notebook really quick. I was like, this doesn't go in the regular book, but it'll be great for the ebook. You know, that way, because I'm thinking about coming back to the US in May. I was like, I'm not working no job, so I want to be able to sustain myself and have some kind of income coming in, you know?
Right.
So those were my questions. You are absolutely amazing. I am a lifestyle coach here in Bali, and I give a lot of the same advice that you've given all these beautiful ladies on here, and you are right on. I love you for what you do.
Oh, thank you.
I kind of feel like you missed your calling, but
what you think my calling is?
To be able to, well, you're doing it, and there shouldn't be a period behind any of the things that we do. It should always be a comma. You're doing it to touch and inspire people, to make people laugh, to build communities, networking, helping folks. You know what I'm saying? So that, I feel like, is your calling, but I think you can make millions of dollars just giving advice and sitting there looking fabulous like you do.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Thank you so much.
What you do, I tune into you every time I see you. If I'm not on my way to the gym, or at the gym, I'm listening to you. Just know that you have my heart. You are just a beautiful spirit. I love you, Craig.
Thank you so much.
That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to give your flowers to you while you're alive.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Bye,
Have a good
y'all.
workout.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. TB, this is the last one.
What's up, Craig? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you well. This is the first time you're calling and you're not in the car.
You're right. You're right. I'm actually at home and I'm glad because so many people have said so many good things, man. And like Amber, I kind of wrote down some stuff. First, I just want to say, I'm not sure if he's in here, but a few months ago, Marcellus, I think that was his name, had purchased a number of books. And I was one of the people that you chose, and I got Words Never Spoken. And so yesterday I was getting my oil changed, and that can take some time. So I said, let me take my book with me. And man, it's so many parallels to what you wrote in this book and that resonate with me personally. And so I just want to say thank you, man, for writing the book. I'm right at life outside the closet. So
yes,
I don't want to give it away.
Go ahead, say it. Go ahead, say it. Go ahead.
No. I don't want to give too much away for the people that don't have it yet. But that drive with you and your dad from Maryland to Atlanta, and your situation with showing up to the party, and I'm not giving it away because people still need to read it,
right,
to understand it. But I just appreciate, man, that it's so amazing how what you wrote in this book again resonates in 2021. So that's pretty cool. So the next thing I got here is you, Maddie, Chi, Daniva. I follow all of y'all pages, man, and it's so amazing in this YouTube space to have an outlet. Right. I think a lot of people, because I'm a part of the community, and I think a lot of people in the community, there was never an outlet really before what you guys started doing on social media and stuff like that. So again, I'm just appreciative for that. There was, I forgot the young lady, I believe, that was speaking, but she said she was around 32 or 33 and struggling with what to find. And you said something that was pretty profound, as you said a lot tonight. That age range is kind of where you should be when you're trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a part of that community that's like, I went to college, I went to undergrad, I went to grad school. Sure, I have a job, but it's not my passion. And following the universe will always figure it out. And the universe, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen.
I'm almost done. Give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna call you right back. All right, sorry.
No, you're good. So that's just all I wanted to say, man. That was almost just like a reiteration and a confirmation, man. Like it was just hearing everybody talk about, those different aspects of mental health. And the young lady wanted to do the podcast. And, I faithfully go to therapy. I go every 2 weeks.
That is so important.
And I didn't know how important it was until I began to unlearn so much of what I learned from the church, from family. People weren't equipped with the knowledge to kind of tell me how to move about in this lifestyle, man. And listen, I'm sure people that can hear me, if you are struggling and you got some things you need to unlearn, therapy can be the place to do it. Honestly, it absolutely can.
And speaking of that, I don't know if it's in Words Never Spoken, or if it's in One Thing for Certain, Two Things for Sure. But I do know that it's in the epilogue. It's at the end of the book. I kind of reflect, and one of the things that I think it's in One Thing for Certain, Two Things for Sure. I say in there, we have to reteach ourselves the things that we were taught.
It's true.
When not just family stuff, but in particular LGBTQ people, because most of us were conditioned by the Black church, the Black family, the Black community to believe that it's wrong to be gay. And we carry those traumas with us into our relationships.
Very true.
And so going back to the question or comment that Therefore I Am made about why is it that sometimes gay folks, they're so amped and so all over the place and they want to let everybody know that they're gay and this, that, and the third. The same can be said about why gay men oftentimes are very, very promiscuous. Not all the time, but oftentimes are, because you've suppressed those feelings for all of those years. I was 22 when I had my first sexual experience with a guy. And so like there was this period where I was like, oh shit, this is pretty good. Let me go. Oh, he want to mess around too? Oh, let me go over here. Oh, he want to mess around too? Yeah, because you didn't went through elementary school, middle school, high school, having these secret fantasies about boys, but you were dating girls.
Right.
So then when you finally start to come out, because it's a transition, it's a journey. When you start to come out, a part of what we do is we act on the feelings before we reconcile and give ourselves permission to be gay.
Right. You've
You know
said
what I
that
mean? So
before
it's
on a
like,
live
I
too.
want to lay
Yeah.
with this one. I want to lay
Yeah.
with that one. So, you have to kind of you got to reteach yourself. And one of the things, and this is in One Thing for Certain too. I say, we become beautiful liars when we're in the closet. We teach ourselves how to lie, how to sneak, and how to cheat when we're in the closet. When you're closeted, you've perfected the art of sneaking, cheating, and lying. Because remember, you're trying to guard that secret that you're gay. And there's a period where you start to gravitate more to the gay community, and you start to leave your straight friends behind. You stop doing less with them, and you're in that transition space because you don't really have any gay friends yet. You're sneaking to the club, you're sneaking online, you're sneaking to a park or wherever it is that you're going.
Right.
The point is, there's that middle ground where you're trying to discover it and find yourself. So you've perfected this lying because you've lied to your straight friends and family. Oh, well, where are you going? Where were you last night? Oh, you're making up these stories. True. And then what happens is once we come into the gay community fully and you start dating, you forget to leave those lies behind. You forget that you no longer have to lie about who you are and what you're doing. You know, so that's why sometimes integrity is missing in our relationships sometimes, because we forget that we no longer have to sneak, cheat, and lie.
Yeah. And one of the greatest lessons, man, honestly, that I learned in therapy, I'll never forget, it was probably session number 2 for me. And session number 1 is where I just broke down, told this lady everything. Mind you, she has no dog in the fight, right? She has no bias. And so around session number 2 or number 3, she told me something that still kind of sits with me right now. And she said, all the suppression, every time you had to suppress, lie, keep something in, it was almost like imagining like a rubber band, right? With every lie, with every amount of suppression, it was like a rubber band that was getting tighter and tighter. And for me, what drove me to going to therapy is, I'll never forget, I was at work and I had a panic and anxiety attack at my desk, right? I thought it was a heart attack. I thought I was dying. And it was at that moment, it was like a light bulb. I need to go get some help about this. And so she told me, she said, with every situation, that's suppression, going through 20, 25 years of lying and keeping it all in, she said, it's like a rubber band that's tightening. And the more you lie, the more you suppress, it's going to continue tightening. And there's 2 ways to get that rubber band loose. Either it's going to continue to tight until it pops. And when it pops, that's when you got your anxiety, your depression, your suicidal thoughts. Or live in the moment, live in the truth, face, unlearn, stand in the truth, and just allow the rubber band to unwrap itself. Just unwrap it.
And I'm gonna tell you how I language that. What I used to say, and I still say, for every single day that you're lying about who you are and you're sneaking and cheating, you shrink a bit.
Yeah.
And every single day you're dying a bit because you're not living your truth. You're not living your full self.
Yeah.
So when people say, well, is it really important to come out? I'm not saying you have to make some proclamation. I'm not saying you have to walk around and let everybody know that you're gay, but you need to be as out as you need to be free.
Yeah.
Where you're not sneaking around and pretending to be somebody that you're not.
Right.
When you start making all of these, when you start producing, it's a big production because some of your family or your friends are coming in town and you got to rearrange things at your household.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're trying to keep this secret, then you're doing too much.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. I'm excited to continue reading Words Never Spoken. And I mean, there's so many parallels, even down to the music, man. Like I went to grad school here in Florida for entertainment business, and right now I'm not working in that. So I have a degree that's on the shelf and, just trying to figure it out. But I appreciate you kind of giving those words of wisdom to just say, I mean, I'm in my early 30s. So being in that place where I gotta, got some figuring out to do, but it's cool. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the talk tonight and the comments that everybody else put out, even down to the podcast. I got some ideas I want to do about the kind of entertainment and mental health with the Black man in the LGBT community, and got some ideas with that. So I wrote down the website that you said. Shoot, I thought I wrote it down.
Libsyn,
yeah, Libsyn, and then going with the microphones and the ideas with that. So again, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for allowing me to come in, and
you're welcome.
Y'all just have a good rest of y'all night.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I appreciate it. All right.
All right. All right, listen, that was the last one. I saw some of you guys saying, well, where's the link? Where's the link? We had like 8 people waiting, and we're now at 2 hours, and the kid needs to get off of here because I need to go situate my situation. He acted like he worked a full day today. Can y'all see him? He acted like he worked a full day. Copper. You sleepy like that? Huh? He done got snuggy in his bed. But anyway, listen, you guys have an amazing night. Thank you, Tanny Joy, and everybody that came on. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you. Oh, I have 2 books I need to gift. I already gifted what's my girl's name that Mike Watson gifted? Jessica. All right, but I have 2 more books I need to gift. Who is that? Excuse me. Got you, Stephanie. I see your order for the book, and I see how you want me to sign it. Thank you very much. Okay, I have 2 books to gift. I'm only gifting Words Never Spoken because we already gave Jessica the Book of Jewels. That's what I wanted to gift her. Shauna says she's going to gift tomorrow, so everybody make sure that you remember Shauna when she comes in here tomorrow. We're going to make sure that she's going to gift a book when she gets here. Good night, Jay Melvin. All right, so we're gifting the first book. Thank you very much, Sharon. I appreciate that. The first book. Who needs the first book? The first book? Oh, thank you, Marsha Elliott. I have 1 more, so I have 3 books to gift. I have 3 for the first book. The first book? Okay. Is that, I don't know how you pronounce that. Is it Panache? Panache Luxury? Okay, do me a favor. This is for the first book. Angela Anderson. I said Panache, Angela Anderson, and Cynthia Fuel. Panache, you have the first book? Do you have the first book? Because I'm gifting the first book. So those 3 people. I have 4 books total, but I'm only gifting 3 tonight. So that's Angela Anderson, Cynthia Fuel, Panache. Okay, Panache. Okay, those are the 3. That's it. Thank you, Marsha, for gifting a book. I appreciate that. Thank you, Cynthia Edwards, for the $5 Cash App, and Christina Osborne. All right, so those 3 people, do me a favor, go over to CraigTheWriterStewart.com. Everyone does not have the first book. Go over to CraigTheWriterStewart.com and then go ahead and send me your name and your shipping address. Not a P.O. box, just a shipping address because FedEx won't deliver to a P.O. box. All right, now don't forget the Honest Hour is coming next month. I think the day that we're going to do it is going to be on Saturdays. So we're going to do it on a Saturday. I think that's going to be the last Saturday of February, but I'll let you know. I'll remind you. But just go ahead and send your stuff for the Honest Hour if you want to participate in that. If you are a small business and you want to promote your business for free, send in your packaging just like you would send it to a customer that's actually purchasing, because we're going to evaluate your packaging. We're going to evaluate your product. We're going to use it, and we're gonna critique it, good, bad, or indifferent. All right. So listen, have an amazing night. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys being very open and trusting me with your story. Right. All right. So have an amazing night. Tomorrow is what? Thursday. Oh, I did want to tell. Oh, I wanted to say this. I forgot to say this. So somebody had said earlier, I think it was TB. He was saying that he really appreciates my content, Funky Daniva, Madison's content, because there isn't really a lot of gay content out there, and so he appreciates it. It's so interesting because today I had to film just interviews for the TV show, for the T.S. Madison Experience, and so Oliver rode back with me from out at Madison's house, and when I tell you, He said something so profound today, and it really gave me pause. He said to me, you do realize that we are the only Black LGBTQ reality show. We're the only reality show where it's all LGBTQ and we're all Black. We're not an accessory. He said there's no reality show where, he said all of the other reality shows, there's a gay person on there, Black gay person on there, but they're the accessory. Like on Housewives, we saw they weren't main characters. They were accessories. And he said, this is going to be groundbreaking just because of that, Craig. And I hadn't even thought about it like that. I hadn't even really thought about the example that we're setting just by being Black and gay on this reality show. So it's really that's it. That's all I want to say. All right. Have an amazing night. Bye, y'all.